Your self-worth is the ceiling of anything that you'll ever be able to materialize. Now, what often happens as one attempts to materialize their desired reality is that they spend a lot of time doing all the necessary work that they need to do. There's affirmations, visualizations, scripting, mental affirmations, and truthfully, the vehicle that you decide to use to get you to your desired reality is irrelevant. You have to understand that those techniques are only activated by you. But what often can limit all of that work and render it all completely useless and in vain is your self-worth, because your self-worth is the energetic ceiling of anything that you'll ever be able to materialize. And a lot of people don't realize that despite all the work that they're doing all that work within the confinements of a box, because you will never be given more by the universe than you believe you deserve. And that's a bar, write that down. So I'm going to be showing you how your self-worth has been programmed, how to have this self-worth in alignment to God, and I'll break down what that means shortly. And ultimately, by the end of this video, you'll be able to increase your self-worth, which can completely change everything that it is you're doing. You may be doing all the work and getting no results, and it's probably because unconsciously you're in a box. But when we take you out of that box, sky's the limit.
How can someone say, "Nah, this is actually a big W still"? I'm making 30K a month now. I did nothing differently externally. I just aligned with it internally first. Like you said, I just had to realize 30K a month is already my current reality. As within, so without.
Oh, we need to set up a GoFundMe for the channel. Now, all jokes aside, congratulations to you. That's completely amazing. And the truth of the matter is you can't outrun your frequency. More often than not, people attempt to get into the career that they want, get to this particular point in their business that they want, and they do everything they need to do in the external without first aligning the internal. And unfortunately, as I just stated, you cannot outrun the frequency you're on. One thing that I also would like to say is that I see you guys donating to the channel, and I want you to know, you don't need to do that. Please don't feel indebted to me by giving this information. I've spoken to other spiritual creators in the back, or even other people watch my videos, and they're like, why do you give so much away in your videos? And it's truly because I live by circulation. By me freely giving this information and not holding anything back and not expecting anything in return, my life is improving. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to put that out there, even though I appreciate it, but it's honestly completely fine. I don't do this for that. Okay. Now, as I just stated, your self-worth is the energetic ceiling of anything you'll be able to materialize. And what this means is that you can do all the inner work that you need to be doing. You can spend all the time altering your frequency in alignment to your desired reality, because manifestation isn't truly creation as such. Everything's already created. True manifestation is revelation, and that's coming to the understanding that what you desire is already within you. Due to the fact that the infinite intelligence is within you, you have access to the all frequencies, all particular parallel universes, and all realities, conditions, and circumstances. By tapping into that, by coming to the recognition and aligning yourself from that, from a vibratory signature standpoint, that is how you end up revealing things. It's not creating, it's taking what's invisible and simply making it visible. But unfortunately, all of that can be rendered useless, because quite literally, the unfortunate thing is that, let's say that your desire is here, whatever your desire is, whether it's a certain amount of money, whether it's a certain career, promotion in your career, getting a career, business, relationships, whatever it may be, health, fitness. Let's say your desire is there, but this is your self-worth right there. Anything that you attempt to do will simply just bounce off that ceiling. Anything. Because the truth of the matter is, and I think back to that quote by James Clear in Atomic Habits, and I'll kind of alter it from a metaphysical standpoint, which is, we don't rise to the level of our aspirations, we fall to the level of our self-worth. And you need to see self-worth as the thing that's ultimately going to either propel you into the direction of your desired reality or self-sabotage you, because it is the ceiling of anything you'll be able to materialize in reality. Now, the issue is, and let me change colors. The issue is, more often than not, we have a human definition of self-worth. Now, you have to understand the thing about us being humans means that we're confined to the physical plane. And because we're confined to the physical plane is the realm that we can only see 0.035% of, which makes it an illusionary realm. Hence why in ancient Hindu traditions, they called it the world of Maya. In the Hermetic tradition, they tell you that reality is an illusion, so on and so forth. Quantum physics is showing you the same thing. Now, due to the fact that where we live and where we exist as human beings is the realm of illusion, so long as we define ourselves, we confine ourselves to that illusion. Now, what we need to do is to begin to operate from a God particular level of consciousness, which is not just the physical plane, but all three planes of existence. Now, what this is going to do is take you out of the confinements of the third dimensional realm, and your self-worth has to be attached to a godlike understanding. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that from a particularly blasphemous point. The way that you can conceptualize God is the highest level of consciousness that is beyond illusion. So long as you operate and think like a human, you'll be confined to the illusions that humanity is confined to, such as polarity, such as an understanding on self-worth, because the issue is most of us don't have the level of self-worth that's necessary for what it is that we desire to materialize. But the self-worth that you have is going to be reflected in the world around you. The world around you is the equivalent of the amount of self-worth that you have. So if you can't increase your self-worth, you won't be able to increase what you're able to materialize. Now, unfortunately, and we've all seen this fucking example all the time with bare different kind of niggas. We see it all the time. We see people who may not be as talented or qualified as us, or to what we deem anyways from our perception, able to materialize amazing things. And it's simply because their self-worth isn't confined to the degree that yours is, which means that what they're able to materialize isn't confined to what yours is. Their self-worth is actually above their desire. So they can easily materialize their desire in a way that unfortunately you can't. So when they attempt to materialize their desire, there is no ceiling for them, because their ceiling is above what they desire, so they're able to get what they desire. Now, as I said, we're going to have to shift you into operating from a particular God level of consciousness, which is nothing more than the unification of understanding that you are the materialization of God. You are made in the image of God. You are the physical expression of God. The aspect of the infinite is within you. As it says in Corinthians, do you not know that Jesus Christ is within you unless you have failed the test and you are disqualified? Now, Christ being the unification of that consciousness with the infinite intelligence such as God, it is all the same thing. It's what we've seen through Krishna, it's what we've seen through Buddha, it's what we've seen through Christ. These individuals that are able to harmonize and connect and unify with the God level of consciousness, which temporarily on the physical plane places them above the limitations and confinements that humanity, such as ourselves, are confined to. While they will tell you, as Jesus said, the works that I can do, ye shall do also, and ye can do greater, because I go unto my Father. Now, Jesus was raising people from the dead, turning bread, to thousands, water to wine. But unfortunately, as human beings, we can't seem to conceptualize it. Now, in the Kabbalion, it tells you that there are no miracles, just only high levels of understanding. And these high levels of understanding can take place when you elevate your consciousness to the God level of consciousness, which is to be beyond the things that we have typically defined our self-worth by. The issue is you don't realize that your entire self-worth is defined by things outside of you, which means that those things outside of you can limit and control the degree of what you can materialize. And that's what borrow that down. But let me explain what I mean even more. I see the crystal raindrops fall,
and the beauty of it all,
when the sun comes shining through. Just the two of us.
Niggas are trying to say I don't know music. Someone said, I can't wait for Nero to remove the do-rag and show the crazy waves he's been manifesting.
Guys, I have no waves. These are calm waters. I literally have no waves at all. I used to have waves, but I just couldn't be fucking bothered, to be honest. I was just like,
Did
yo,
you?
this is long, yeah. Like 2019. In like 2019. Honestly, it's too long, man. It's too long.
You should get dreads and embrace your inner Jamaican.
I used to have dreads when I was growing up.
Okay.
I'm not joking.
Okay.
I'm literally not joking.
Yeah. I believe you.
You don't have okay, whatever. I literally used to have dreads growing up. That's not even a joke. I'm not even trolling. I swear on everything.
Yep.
On my mom's life, honestly.
I know a lot of men who say that and never mean it, bro.
Those are the worst guys. Bro, on everyone's soul, I used to have dreads. I'm not even joking. I actually did used to have dreads. Okay, so let's see like this. So self-worth determines what you think you deserve. Now, this is very, very important because if you do not believe down in the depths of your subconscious mind, which bear in mind, one thing I like to preface is the subconscious mind is completely irrational and completely illogical. Most of us grow up in circumstances that we know that we actually deserve better in. Like when I was growing up, I knew that my family deserved more money. I knew that my mom shouldn't have to work this hard, you know, but for some reason, it's like, even though we know we deserve better, it's not truly what we believe we deserve. And here's the thing, you have to understand, belief is transcended by knowing, and that's a bar of that down. And the subconscious mind knows while the conscious mind believes. And if your subconscious mind knows that you don't deserve better, despite you believing you deserve better, ultimately you won't get better. Because the subconscious mind is the womb of reality, which ultimately transcends logic. It is beyond it. You can know that you deserve a better partner. You know that you can deserve a better career, a better job, a better state in your business, better health, a better physique, a better appearance, whatever it is. But if you know you don't, ultimately that knowing is trumped every time, because knowing is synonymous with the true etymological origins of the word faith, which is fides, which is confidence, which is conviction, which is knowing. When you flick a light switch, you don't believe it's going to turn on, you know it's going to turn on. And unfortunately, if you know that you don't deserve better, that is what will be created every single time. Your self-worth is closely linked to what you deserve, what you know you deserve. Put no brackets. Now, here's the unfortunate thing. If you can change what it is that you know you deserve, then you can change your self-worth, which means you can elevate and raise the ceiling of what it is that you want to materialize. So then the question is, how do I know I deserve better? How do I know I deserve better, Nero? Relax, you're gonna get some. Pay very close attention to what I'm about to say. In the realm of metaphysics, I need you to understand what you know you deserve is what you have. Light bulb moment. What you know you deserve is what you have already emotionally experienced. I'm gonna let that marinate. Understand this. You can believe that you deserve more money. You can believe that you deserve a better career. You can believe that you deserve love. You can believe that you should be in better shape. But unfortunately, what you deserve or what you know you should deserve is based upon what you have already emotionally experienced. Why? Emotion is the true language of the subconscious mind. Repetition without emotion is irrelevant. People often say the programming language of the subconscious mind is repetition. That's a very long-winded way. The subconscious mind speaks the language of emotion because emotion, such as the subconscious mind, is illogical. It transcends logic. Emotion is the language of God. It's the language of the subconscious mind. Because as I've stated before in another video, I believe I got a video on the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is programmed depending upon the emotional, which is energetic, charge. The more powerful the emotional charge that one experiences, the more likely the subconscious mind will be impressed or programmed by that particular idea. This is why trauma, and I was actually talking to a client of mine about this. We were talking about trauma and stuff. And the way that I define trauma for understanding is an emotionally intense or emotionally charged experience that alters the way that you begin to look at the world. That is trauma. And trauma is one of the most powerful ways to program the subconscious mind. And that's not me saying use trauma. I'm just saying when people go through trauma, their subconscious mind is completely programmed because the way that they look at life is completely changed based upon the amount of emotional charge that they go through. Your subconscious mind is programmed by the emotional charge. So whatever you have emotionally experienced determines what you believe you should deserve. So here's the thing. If you grow up in the ghetto, in the ends like I did, and you have an emotionally attached or charged experience to poverty, guess what your subconscious mind is going to think you deserve? Even though you know that you should deserve better. But your subconscious mind is like, hold on, this is what I've emotionally experienced. You've had an emotional charge or an energetic charge to this particular experience of poverty. So what you deserve is poverty. And please extrapolate this to anything. So let's say you grew up in a particular circumstance, or you go through a bad relationship that was absolutely terrible and it was toxic and all of this, it was absolutely terrible. And you create a very powerful emotional charge. You had an intense emotional experience. Your subconscious mind has now calibrated that experience to be what's in it. And unfortunately, as within, as without, on earth as it is in heaven. The inner creates the outer and the subconscious mind is the inner. So then your subconscious mind will believe that now, based upon what you have emotionally experienced, you deserve more toxicity. So then the relationships that you're able to materialize is always some bullshit. Let's say you go through a particular period of time where you're trying to get employed, you're applying for bare jobs, you're doing all the applications, you're on Indeed, all of that. But for whatever reason, nothing's going through. So what happens? You become frustrated, you become irritated, you become apathetic. You're thinking about all the things that you need to handle with the money that you don't have based upon you not being employed. You have an emotionally charged experience. Now that goes into the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind says, this is what this individual deserves. So they make it difficult and more difficult for you to get employed because unemployment is what you've had an emotionally charged experience to. Or even in your business. Let's say in your business, you're struggling to get clients and no clients are hitting you up and it's just fucking rough. You become frustrated, you become apathetic, you become, you have an emotionally charged experience, which programs the subconscious mind, which is when it's in the subconscious mind says, this person deserves a poor business. Whole time you believe, it's not about what you believe. Take the word belief out your vocabulary, because that doesn't mean shit in the realm of of metaphysics. The universe doesn't recognize belief, unfortunately. It only recognizes knowing. So take all the things that you believe and take all the things that you know. And what you're going to see is that the knowing is created each and every single time, because conviction is what ultimately activates the placebo effect of the universe to move into effect. This is how what you deserve is based upon. And unfortunately, if what you deserve is also what determines your self-worth, if you go through a particular experience that indicates a particular degree of a lack of love or that you are unlovable, that emotional experience is then entered into the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind then says, this is what this person deserves. And then what you deserve is attached to your self-worth, and now you don't believe that you deserve love. People often say, I have self-worth problems. How? This is how. This is how. Each and every single time, the emotional experiences that you go through, because here's the thing, a big mistake that's often made in the quote-unquote manifestation space is that your thoughts alone is what does things. No, not all thoughts are equal. The only thoughts that lead to the potentiality of creation are thoughts that are emotionally charged. That's due to the fact that emotion alters the vibration of those thoughts, making them stronger, which then emits to a stronger frequency, which then emits to a stronger possibility of that frequency, which is nothing more than immaterialized reality, becoming eventually materialized in the same way that steam eventually converts to ice based upon an alteration of the rate of vibration. And this is very unfortunate. This can work either for you or negatively against you. What you have emotionally experienced is going to be what you ultimately believe you deserve. So let me ask you a question. with the aspect of your life that you're trying to materialize whatever it is that you desire. Because as we always say, spirituality without the ability to control your reality is nothing more than vanity. You can play dress up, you can play costumes, you can change the way that you niggas speak, you can change this, you can change that, you can discover ancient history about this and believe that you're this and all of this. But honestly, if you're not in control of your reality, then what is the point of any of that? Understanding that spirituality without the ability to control your reality is vanity. In the realm of your life that you're trying to progress and materialize towards, what is it that you believe you deserve? You believe you deserve better, but what do you know you deserve? What have been the emotional experiences that I've gone through in relation to what it is that I'm attempting to materialize? And were those experiences in the direction of my desired reality or in contradiction to it? Because more often than not, the conclusion that you're gonna have to come to is that for most of us, it's in direct contradiction to that. Completely. So without realizing, we are in direct contradiction to what it is that we're attempting to materialize. You're doing all the work, you're doing everything that you know you should be doing, you're doing everything that you know you should be doing, but for some reason it's just not. And this is why. And it gets deeper. Pause. You're right there, AJ. I feel like I've brought the vibes down. It's alright. We'll have some tea after this. You'll be alright.
Tea?
You don't drink tea?
That's a tea. I need a strong coffee.
No. You know what though? I can't lie. I'm not on a coffee thing.
What do you mean you're not on a
I
coffee?
drink matcha.
Okay. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. I'm PR trained.
I can't lie. We need some PR training stuff.
Yeah, we do. Well, I got mine.
Hey, we're alright so far. You know what I mean?
But now
we're alright so far.
Nero was a cyborg that AJ created.
A what? A what? A cyborg? Is that what you said?
Cyborg,
is that what you said?
Cyborg.
Man said cyborg. What's that?
Nero is a cyborg that AJ created with laser eyes and a battery in his head. That's why he never takes off his glasses or do.
They're onto us. What's his name? We should catch him.
His name's Stunk Man.
Yeah, we gotta catch him still. Hey, count your days. Count your days, bro.
What the fuck?
I'm a cyborg. Cool. I've heard reptilian. I've heard that I'm not from this planet. Cyborg is a new one.
Someone said you're from some different planet. What planet was it? It was something weird as well.
I don't know, man. Let's go with... I already used that color. Now, to kind of build upon everything that I just said, so to kind of simplistically reiterate everything that I just said, what you have to come to the understanding of is that what you deserve is based upon what you have emotionally experienced. I repeat, what you know you deserve is based upon what you have emotionally experienced, and this is in relation to whatever it is that you're attempting to materialize. The emotional experiences that you go through ultimately define what you believe you deserve, due to the fact that the emotion in that particular experience is what programs the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind then associates that with deserving, which then attaches that or associates that with self-worth, which is then the ceiling of whatever it is that you're attempting to materialize. Now, here's the unfortunate thing and the fortunate thing, because we have transcended polarity. Now, the world will never prove you are worthy before you do. Now, here's the irony of it all. Due to the fact that you've made errors in what and how you've kind of defined self-worth, your definition of self-worth is very much closely attached or associated, as I'll get into very shortly. We're actually going to get some very closely associated to what the world has defined your self-worth to be at. But the world will never prove that you are worthy before you do. Anything that you want to materialize, you have to be it before the world proves it to you. You need to be rich before the world already proves it to you. You need to be in a happy, healthy relationship before the world proves it to you. You need to be in a state of fitness or physique, however you want it, before the world proves it before you do. You need to have that job before the world proves it to you. You need to have that promotion before the world proves it to you. You need to be at that point in your business before the world proves it to you, because the world will never prove anything other than what you are, and what you are comes before what is expressed. Now, like I said, when we're talking about self-worth and deserving things, you're going to have to make yourself worthy before the world proves it to you. How do I do that, Nero? Easy, easy. Let me show you. I like this one. Now, here's the beauty of it all. The beauty of it all is that these emotional experiences can work either for you or completely against you. And more often than not, we don't realize something which is amazing about the mind. Something that's completely amazing about the mind. The mind can't distinguish between reality and imagination. That's one. Which means that what typically as human beings, what we define as the truth is things that we've experienced within the physical plane, things that we can see, touch, taste, smell, see, whatever. Anything that revolves around the five senses is unfortunately what we define as truth, without realizing that even though what we do define as truth comes from a realm of only 0.0035% of what actually we can see, due to the fact that visible light is a tiny fraction of the entirety of the electromagnetic spectrum. What we define as truth isn't actually truth. It's a small fraction of an entire truth. We're actually missing 99.9965% of everything else. So what is truth really and truly? But the beauty of the mind is that the mind can't distinguish between the things that you imagine or the things that I should say internally experience. Because here's the thing. What if I told you that your definition of imagination affects manifestation? Here's the thing. Unfortunately, I don't know why I think I'm coming down with something.
Is that thingy's flu?
Nah, I'll be alright, man. I'll be alright. Unfortunately, and this is so crazy. The way that you define imagination affects manifestation. That's due to the fact that imagination is another word for consciousness, right? It's another way of defining consciousness. It's another way of defining the inner world when we look at it from a more mystical, metaphysical perspective. But as human beings, they have infantilized or made childish imagination. And because they've told you imagination is just make believe, it's not real, you actually don't come to the recognition that nothing exists in creation, in humanity, that first wasn't an imagination. But if they tell you that your imagination isn't real and it's childish, you've now limited your ability to use your imagination for manifestation. That's crazy. But as I said, the mind can't differentiate between what is imagined and what is actually experienced. What is imagined and what is actually experienced, which means that you can internally create an experience that resonates with a strong degree of emotional charge or emotionally experience something internally that raises your self-worth. Yes. As I said, a big mistake when it comes to self-worth, you're never going to increase your self-worth so long as you let everything externally define everything internally. And that's what barred that down, because unconsciously or unaware to you, you've been defining your amount of self-worth based upon things outside of you, whether that's how people perceive you, and we're going to get into that, because that's very, very, people don't even realize how that messes them up. Now, like I said, due to the fact that the mind can't distinguish between truth and imagination, we can use our imagination to create or let's say cultivate an internal experience that is emotionally charged to such a degree that it alters what we believe we deserve, and displace that and ultimately replace it with what it is that we want to experience. By increasing what you deserve based upon altering what you have internally emotionally calibrated as your standard, you increase what you deserve, you increase your self-worth, you raise the ceiling on what it is that you want to materialize, and then you grab the things that you want to materialize very, very easily. Let me show you what I mean. Let me show you what I mean. This is how you've been defining your self-worth. When the night has come and the land is dark, No, I won't be afraid. Oh, I won't shed a tear just as long as you stand by me. And darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. I swear someone said something like, oh, you're not spiritual or something like that.
Let me find it. Hold on. I got it right here. Oh, is it? I don't know if it's this one. There's a few. Imagine thinking that you're spiritual, then you come onto YouTube and start learning in depth about spirituality from a person damn near half your age. Love this guy. Thanks, Nero.
Much appreciation. Thank you.
For real, a lot of spiritual creators, this is someone else replying to this now.
Mm-hmm.
For real, a lot of spiritual creators don't have a clue at all. It's like watching kindergarten and then going to Harvard. Nero on a different level.
Thank you. That means a lot. I mean, I don't know if I'd call other people like kindergarten or nursery, and myself Harvard. I'm just hearing it.
That's a while still, kindergarten.
Yeah. It's a bit cheeky style. No, I swear someone said like, oh, I tried to send you to another YouTuber, but they said that you're not spiritual or something like that. What color should I choose? I haven't used black today, have I, AJ?
You have?
Have I?
It was literally the drawing.
Oh, whoops. Be alright. See, guys, I try to keep it nice for you, man. Variety in it.
Oh, I recommended you to a YouTuber and she told me you aren't spiritual. I unsubscribed to her. So weird, anyone thinks they can judge someone on spirituality. We're all spiritual in some ways. Haha.
I guess I'm not spiritual. I understand that for a lot of other creators, I don't particularly fit the aesthetic of somebody who is spiritual. I wouldn't define myself as spiritual either, because all of the shit that the spiritual niggas tell you not to do, I actually do it. I drink terribly. I eat meat terribly. Pause. What else do I do? I don't know. Other than that, I don't know, man. No. I like acai bowls. I like smoothies. You know what I mean?
I've never seen you drink a smoothie in my life.
Bro, the green smoothies that I'm always drinking.
They count.
Yeah.
From M&S. Is it from M&S?
They're from Waitrose.
Oh.
Yeah, whatever spiritual means to niggas these days, I don't want to be that. I know I haven't got my telekinesis certification yet, but just wait on me, guys. I'm waiting on the... Niggas are doing telekinesis and that, and then complaining about their lives. If I could do telekinesis, things would be a lot different in this world, I'll tell you that right now. They might need to get the Avengers on me. You need to watch this show called Severance. It's really, really good.
Are you a psychopath?
What?
You're a psychopath.
What?
I told you to watch this 2 weeks ago.
Oh, swear, it was you.
Yeah, bro.
I just finished season 1.
We sat here and I was like, bro, you what Severance? Both of you said no. And then I was like, now watch that. Because I'm on season 2 ages ago. I'm
on season 1. It's so hard. It's so sad.
Sick.
It's so sad. There's a bar that Miss Cobble, his boss says, she was like, my mom was an atheist, and she used to say, you know, the good thing about hell is that it's nothing more than the morbid imagination of humanity. But the bad thing is that humans tend to create what they imagine. I was like, ooh.
Yes.
That's serious boss.
Shout out Mrs. Colbert.
And check this, right? So if you haven't watched it, this isn't like a major spoiler or anything like that, but if you have watched it, you're going to understand what I'm saying. So do you know when that girl's in the break room and they're making her read whatever, that thing?
Yeah.
And he's like, you don't mean it. And she had read it 300 times. She had repetition. Even though she had done repetition 300 times, he was like, you don't mean it. But then when she started crying, he was like, you mean it now. goes to the effect that repetition, when it comes to programming the subconscious mind, it's very long-winded, but the subconscious mind can be altered in an instant due to an emotionally charged experience. If an emotionally charged experience happens once, then it means something to you. When it means something to you, it has transcended logic and entered emotion, which is the language of the subconscious mind. Then that's when their minds completely change. Crazy. Nah, I gotta thank you for that still. I gotta thank you for that.
I'm actually surprised you
I can't
listened
believe
to
it
me.
was you. No, I did. So here's the issue. The thing about self-worth is that whether you realize this or not, your definition of self-worth comes from the world. And your definition of self-worth typically comes from two places. That is either your perception of others, or your perception, well, the perception of others, so the way other people perceive you, or your achievements and failures. So let's say W's and L's. Now, unfortunately, and this is what our self-image or self-worth is made out of, and you can find traces of this in a book called Psychocybernetics. That's one of them, which talks about a plastic surgeon who people used to come to him with particular degrees of insecurities in their face and get it altered, but then even having their face altered, they still had the same level of insecurities, and that's because you can't solve a mental problem with a physical solution, and that's a bar write that down. And they say that in The Sopranos. I think it's I don't know his name. He says something to the effect of, there isn't a chemical solution for a spiritual problem. Extremely profound. And it's the same thing here. Now, as I said, our self-worth, the average person's self-worth, your self-worth is probably determined by how people perceive you, how people see you, and the things that you're able to achieve and the things you fail to achieve. Now, let me explain to you why it is complete nonsense. And let's start with the perception of others. And hopefully by the end of this should kind of collapse the external attachment or association to self-worth, so we can kind of anchor it to you internally. And that's ultimately what's going to give you power, because unfortunately, any dependency on reality quite literally makes you reality's bitch. You need to become independent to reality. This is what all great spiritual masters spoke about. Krishna said, the wise are the same in pleasure and pain. The wise are not attached to the work that the wise are not attached to the fruits of the work that they do. It's this relinquishing control or dependency that reality has upon you. Now, the perception of others, pay very close attention, because this could stop any particular fear of embarrassment or the way people see you. People cannot see you beyond how they see themselves. And that's a bar, write that down. And this is going to be something that frees you. It's either going to be something that frees you or something that depresses you when I say this. Nobody will ever see the real you. What do you mean by that, Nero? Nobody will ever see the real you. They can't. They can't. Because what we see in reality is nothing more than the vibration or the frequency that we're operating at. Even when I see you, or even when you see me, you're seeing me through a distorted lens. And that distortion is based upon the frequency that you are currently operating at. So if nobody can ever see the real you because they cannot see you without seeing themselves in you, an aspect of that, why the fuck do you care about the way people perceive you? To care about the way people perceive you isn't accurate. You're not caring about the way people perceive you. What you don't realize is that people can only perceive you to a degree of how they perceive themselves, or their preconceived notions of you. And even in then, the preconceived notion that somebody has of you will quite literally tint how they see you. So even when people, for example, to that comment of that person that said they told a YouTuber to watch me and she said he's not spiritual. Whenever people, you don't think I understand this. Like whenever people see me, a young black guy, shades, durag, your preconceived notion of what that image means is one thing. So even when you're listening to me talk, there's going to be people, despite the things that I say, they're just not going to like me. And it's because they cannot see me beyond not only how they see themselves, but their preconceived notions of me. Because the preconceived notions that they have of me is ultimately going to be what filters out in what they experience of me. Same way. And this is so crazy, because I was talking to a client of mine, Isaiah, and congratulations. You know, I told you my clients move at a different frequency. You just seen he got announced in the latest Snowfall spinoff, right? And we were talking about this. By the way, if you're an entrepreneur who wants to 2 to 5x their revenue without changing anything in your business, then link in the description. We were having this conversation, and of course, he's an actor on one of the world's biggest shows. So the way that people perceive him is something that's always going to be playing in his mind. Anybody in the spotlight is going to be like that. But there comes a point where if you don't detach from the way that people perceive you, then you end up letting the frequency of others create you. And you end up letting the frequency of others control you. Because if the way somebody perceives you has ability to alter you internally, then indirectly you grant them the ability to alter you internally. And if they can alter you internally, then that's going to lead to an alteration externally through what you create in your reality. And it's so crazy because when you come to the recognition that people can't see you beyond how they see themselves, the frequency they're on, or their preconceived notion of you, then nobody ever sees the real you. So what's there to even care about in the first place? When you come to that conclusion, that is 1 out of 2 gone. The other way that we typically define our self-worth is the things that we achieve or the things that we fail to achieve. But even the definition of wins and losses mean, if you see things as wins and losses, then that means you're confined to polarity. Polarity is separation or duality within this third dimensional realm. Everything has a particular energetic opposite. Now, this in of itself is an illusion, because as you transcend the third dimensional plane and move to high levels of existence, everything is one. And until you can recognize and experience everything as one, then you are confined by the illusion of polarity. And if you're confined by polarity, you're confined by an illusion. An illusion is a trap, and you will be trapped. The issue is, as Krishna said, the wise are the same in pleasure and in pain. The wise are the same in pleasure and in pain. Say it with me. The wise are the same in pleasure and pain. What does that mean? It means they've transcended the worldly definitions on what things mean. What is a win to you? What is a loss to you? If the way that you experience a win and a loss is different, then without realizing everything within the meaning of winning, you now set in motion to experience, which seems like a good thing, right? When we're winning and we feel great, it seems amazing. Fucking no. Because Sir Isaac Newton said for every force, there's an equal and opposite force, which means to the same degree that you can let reality make you feel good when things are going great, is to the same potentiality that you can allow reality to take you down to the depths of sadness when you experience the energetic polarity, which you will so long as you adhere to the definitions of things. And this is why a lot of people's self-worth is in the bin, because unfortunately they may go through continuous losses without realizing it. And the way that losses affect you can only come from the way that you define and the meaning that you attribute to those losses. And meaning is emotion. Emotion is the language of God, the language of the subconscious mind. So when you continuously experience losses and you feel terrible because you've defined this as a loss, or you define yourself as a loser, indirectly you attribute meaning to that particular degree of negativity and everything that it means to be a loser or to lose, which then reinforces into the subconscious mind, which then sets you into a perpetual cycle of losing. And I said this to one of my clients. One of my clients is an 8-figure crypto trader. You know, at the time he was doing like 500K a month. I can't reveal how much he made in a week because he made me sign some shit, but he made 7 figures in 1 week after about 7 weeks of working with me. Why? Because one of the things that we had to transcend was him seeing everything either as a win or loss and see everything as one. Because when you see everything as one, you're seeing from the God's eye view. When you see everything as one, you don't grant reality an ability to alter your state because everything's the same. And that can only come from you choosing to see that. So before you comment, how do I see everything as one, Nero? You just made the decision to do so. What other choice do you have? Not everything has a crazy complex technique. And in the realm of the esoteric, the occult, metaphysics, one thing that a lot of people like to do is obfuscate information, which is to make things appear more complicated than they really are. That's what they've wanted to do from day one, so you can never understand it, but it is really that simple. And bear in mind, when I say this, I mean externally. Anything that you grant the ability to alter your own self-worth or your self-perception with, you will grant the ability to be controlled by it. What we need to do is to replace everything externally with everything internally, but we can't do that yet. And this is a step that actually comes after what I'm about to tell you today. I kind of got the orders mixed up.
You know what really frustrates me?
A lot of things.
People don't respect 2016 Drake. They just forget he ever
Can
existed.
we live without you bringing up Drake in one video?
Bro, there's just no respect there. Why?
Just one moment without you bringing up Drake.
And it's things like
How
that
does
that
Drake
get
even
me.
relate to this? How do you even think about that?
Because Drake has
Gobble.
Drake has a high ceiling of self-worth. He was able to achieve, some of the greatest feats in history.
I agree.
More self-worth than Kendrick. Serious question.
This is 10 out of 10 rage bait. 10 out of 10 rage bait. What color should I use?
Pink. Orange.
So as I said, question. But this is only a question that you can answer. What makes you feel worthy? What makes you feel worthy? Could it be validation? Could it be achievements? Could it be money? Could it be love? Could it be respect? What are the other things people pride themselves on? Simply one of these things. This is personally to you, so make sure you write down whatever you believe makes you feel worthy, and there's a reason for this. So long as you are determined on getting the feeling of worthiness from everything externally to you, as I said, you are reality's bitch to some degree or another. Because you grant the external power over your internal, and your internal is worth more than the external. Hence why the universe recognizes the external as an illusion, but you, deep within the depths of who you are, is the truth to the universe. And this is the irony of it. So long as you require validation from the external, you indicate to the universe that you aren't validated internally, which then sets in motion for that to be expressed. So you don't have validation. Even though validation makes you feel worthy, you don't have it. You can only have what you already have, so the universe doesn't express it. Even though if having achievements makes you feel worthy, then that indicates to the universe that you don't have achievements. And if you don't have achievements internally, then you don't have them externally. So you feel worthy by achievements, but you don't have achievements and you don't get achievements. Or with money. Money makes you feel worthy. Well, if money makes you feel worthy, then that's an indication you don't have money. And if you can only have what you already have and you don't have money, then that's what the universe is going to express. You get the gist of it now. You need to be validated, self-validated in order to be validated externally. You need to be internally achieved everything that you desire to have external achievement. You need to have money before you have money externally. You need to have love before the world proves it to you. You need to have respect before the world proves it to you. So what we're going to do to kind of spin back to the point that I said earlier is take advantage of the fact that the mind can't distinguish between imagination and reality. And what you're going to do is internally experience or cultivate an internal experience that suggests you have what it is that you desire. And the more that you do that, the less external you will require. And the more you become in control of your worthiness. What do I mean by that? So, the issue is your self-worth. You don't feel worthy because you don't have a lot of money. What you need to do is internally experience having a lot of money, because in doing so, due to the fact that the mind can't distinguish between whether this is reality or imagination, if you do it to such a degree that it's intense and it's vivid, you will then tell the mind that you have money, which would then increase your self-worth, which would then increase your ceiling. Simple way to do that. Whatever it is that you pride yourself or whatever your self-worth is built upon, internally cultivate that experience. What does that look like? I'll give you a simplistic thing that I tell all of my clients. Clients, you already know how it is. I give these niggas everything. It's cool. I always say to my clients, pick somebody who would be extremely happy for you to achieve whatever it is that you want. Somebody that would truly be happy. If they saw you, they'd be truly happy. And have that person acknowledge that what you desire has already happened or congratulate you for that. And then repeat that like a boomer, like an Instagram boomerang again and again and again, while feeling the love, the excitement, the respect, the accolades that you'd get from that person seeing you genuinely happy, until you get to a point where you feel like you're straining yourself and you're straining the subconscious mind, because that's directly opposed to the subconscious mind. I've got a video on the subconscious mind, go watch that, and then stop. Simple. Game over. Nothing more, nothing less. That's it. Everything done. Nothing more, nothing less. It's really that simple. So I'll give you an example. Let's say for love, instead of feeling a lack of self-worth because you don't have love externally, cultivate or imagine or cultivate an internal experience that would indicate that you have love. So it could be someone saying to you, I've never seen you in love like this. Seeing that person happy that you're in love would indicate that you're in a state of love. The more that you internally cultivate that, the more you begin to alter what your subconscious mind has calibrated you deserve, because what you deserve is based upon what you've emotionally experienced. And now, because you're displacing energetically what your mind is calibrated that you emotionally experienced with something that's in the reflection of your desired reality, your mind will now believe you deserve love, which then sets in motion the frequency of love, which then sets in motion for reality to orchestrate you being moved closer to a desired reality where you experience love. Or let's say validation from other people. Validation isn't the issue. The issue is external. The issue is the reliance on validation externally. That's the issue. If you were validated internally, what would that be like? Cultivate that internal experience to such a degree that you are no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing your reality change. Because the more you internally experience that, the less you're going to need it externally. And eventually, if you do this day in, day out to such a degree that you are experiencing whatever makes you feel worthy internally, relinquishing the dependency on the external, you will no longer need this, and your self-worth won't be able to be lifted up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Because you being lifted up and down, up and down, up and down is you being emotionally swung back and forth. You being swung emotionally back and forth is you being swung emotionally, energy, motion, vibration, frequency, reality. You're being swung back and forth through different conditions and circumstances of reality. Now, that is what you need to do. And don't say, how do I do it, niggas? Because I just told you. I literally just told you. That's the same thing that I tell my clients. That's how you do it. Now, one thing that I like to say, there is a philosophy called Taoism, spelled Taoism. There's a great book called Tao Te Ching. There's another book called Road to Immortality, a Taoist book. Really, really cool stuff. Lao Tzu, amazing. One of the Christs, as well as Buddha, Krishna, Christ, Lao Tzu, amazing. And a Taoist saying is, staring at rice does not boil it. Quite literally. So don't be listening to everything that I'm saying, taking notes and doing fuck all with it. It's about your ability to implement, because I'm literally giving you everything you need. You may need to revisit this, but the most important thing is that you begin to implement what I just said. Because staring at rice does not cook it. I don't want you guys to be on a hamster wheel of constantly jumping from thing to thing, from video to video, from book to book, because I did that for too long. I can say, yeah, I got hundreds of books and show you my bookshelf and show you all the books I used to pirate when I was broke and all of that. But it's just like, what is the point? It's about your ability to implement, to alter your reality. That is what ultimately determines everything. Let's go to red. Now, what I just said, when you think about it, is about shifting your wants to have. You want validation, you need to have validation in order to have it. You want money, you need to have money in order to have money. You want love, you need to have love. And the only way you can do that is by cultivating an internal experience through the method that I just gave you. Rewind if you didn't catch it, because I said it. Cultivating an internal experience that suggests that you have it. Because anything that you want is an indication of what you don't have, and you can only have what you already have. So your wanting is actually a confession of what you don't have. Wanting is a confession of what you don't have. Wanting is a confession of what you don't have. And here's the final thing I'd like to say about self-worth. The world has taught you that your self-worth is something to be earned. Your self-worth is a birthright of being a materialization of God. And being a materialization of God, you have the capability of altering yourself to such a degree where you can raise your self-worth. And if you raise your self-worth, you raise the ceiling. If you raise the ceiling, you raise what you can materialize in reality.